Welcome to your two inductive studies for this week, Module 6. They're two very different kinds of texts. The first one is from Proverbs chapter 8, verses 22 to 36, and the second one is from 2 Maccabees chapter 7, and pretty much the whole of chapter 7. Just a quick look at a couple things from each of these passages. First of all, the Proverbs 8 passage, it speaks in whoever it is speaking speaks in the first person. Take a look at the pronouns. Ages ago, I was set up at the first part. There was no I was brought forth for the mountains. I was brought forth. I was there, and on it goes. Now, what's the series of events at which this person who speaks, this one who speaks, was there? So there's a series of actions. Before the foundation of the earth, for instance, before there were any depths, when there were no springs abounding with water. So you'll notice that there's a whole series of actions that are talked about here, and also in time frames. And then this speaker is there. So who is this speaker? What does this speaker represent, or and what's the point of this text, and how is the writer using words to make it? So I'd like you to do a standard 45 minutes of observation, 15 minutes to wrap it up, do a CIT on this text. I'd like you to take a little bit different approach with the 2 Maccabees passage. This is a story narrated in the third person about a mother and 7 sons who are tortured, whipped, and thonged, and eventually are killed. But it doesn't take, 3 pages worth of text just to make that point. Something else is going on here. What's going on? Why are these sons being killed, and what does the mother do in response? This passage has the distinction of being the first known text to articulate in very clear terms the doctrine of creatio ex nihilo, the idea that God created things out of nothing. And it appears surprisingly in the midst of this particular story. So it's not a philosophical work. It's a particular kind of well, it's a hero story in certain kind of respects. And instead of writing out a standard CIT for this passage, I want you to do something a little different with the last 15 minutes. After you look over this passage and get into it and try to understand what its point is, I want you to write a paragraph in response to this statement, this question. Here's the statement, and it is a true fact. During the Middle Ages, Catholic and Orthodox communities had hundreds of these types of martyrdom stories, and they told them over and over to their people. They had volumes of works that talked about the martyrdom of this person and that person in great detail. And here's our question then. What's the purpose of such a story, and what does it accomplish in people who take this kind of a story to heart? Is this all good, or is this all bad, or is this somewhere in the middle? So again, for this CIT, you're doing, for this passage, this inductive study, you're going to do a little bit different direction. Basically, read it, get a good inductive study of the passage, but then respond to this question and this, this statement and this question. And then write a paragraph, and I'd like you to insert that paragraph into one of your posts in the discussion area. So those are your two passages to look at for this week. The Proverbs one in particular lies really at the heart of our work in this course, and that's the one I'd like you to really do a good and excellent inductive study on, because it's one of the foundation texts of creation theology in the Old Testament. So take a good, careful look at that one. Thank you much.